Hello everyone, it's Shadow's Rain here, and today we are going to be talking about the FAMAS. Is it any good? Is it a piece of crap? Or is it a little bit of a surprise little weapon in the pocket? In this video I will let you know all about it, because we finally got a win with it, and that's going to let you know everything. I feel as if you get a win with a weapon, you are allowed to talk about it, because that means you've actually had to have played with the weapon a fair bit. Unless you win with it first time, of course. But yes, if you do enjoy the video, make sure you hit that like video down below, and a subscription is always fantastic as well. But with that being said, let's hit straight into the title card, and we'll go right into it. So as said, this gameplay before is from a win. There may be other little bits of gameplay going on over it, just depending on how long the video takes and how long this voiceover bit is. You'll notice that I've put my camera in a slightly different position. That's purely because the webcam was on with the background removed. So I'm just putting myself over that, so you're not like seeing me saying something that you're not hearing, because it's very confusing. But let's get right into it. So I, in my tier list video, have called this an F tier weapon. I think it's among the worst. I put that in there because of its slow time to kill. I put that in there because there's not really much you can do with it. And I put that in there because you never see anyone using it. So, yes, how did I find my initial first impressions of the gun? It felt like any other weak gun in Call of Duty. If you can get your shots all lined up and everything hits and you can land a headshot, you can drop someone extremely quickly. Sometimes, if they've done one plate of damage, you can melt them in 2 bursts sometimes, which is really handy. But yeah, it's an F tier weapon. So a lot of people complain that the recoil is a bit of an issue and that it's like bang, bang, bang. That can be fixed. So that can be fixed with recoil attachments. So for example, I use a sniper barrel, and a Merc foregrip, and I find that tightens it up a bit. I don't find the commando foregrip works that much. I have tried to use it, and the bullets were still like in this, like that little dotted pattern, so not a massive fan of the commando on that particular one. But yeah, I do feel as if it's the recoil is manageable on it. So as I mentioned before, it will 2 burst enemies with 1 plate missing. That's really handy, because in 1 burst you can do roughly 110 damage. Obviously depending on where you hit them. Obviously if you hit the leg, then you're not going to do that, but if you get like a good body shot on them, it's really good, especially if you can land that headshot. 2 bursts to the head, which I found really useful sometimes, but obviously that means all your shots are going to hit the head, so really good in that regard. What I also like about this weapon as well, I mean, there's not that many things I like about the weapon, but I do also like that it has a surprisingly decent range for the free shot burst. So what I mean by that is its damage range. So it's a 3 burst range. So burst, burst, burst. People tend to be dropped if they've got full armor, unless you like hit a headshot or a leg shot, so then that can vary it up a bit. However, I do find that it's a really good range. I didn't like every time I took a fight, I always felt as if I cracked someone's armor in 2 bursts, and if I managed to land a 3rd one, I always hit them at pretty much any decent range that you would engage on them with an assault rifle. One thing I do really like about this gun is its semi-automatic mode. Now, I think this is one of the stronger aspects about the weapon, and I think the FAL would be beautiful in this mode. So basically, what you can do is, you have the burst fire mode, of course, which you know about. However, what it does after that is you can put it in single fire mode, and you've got a little bit of a marksman rifle, which is doing around about SOCOM-ish damage. Obviously, it's not doing full SOCOM damage. However, I believe you're doing around 40 bullets per hit. Sorry, 30 bullets. 40 damage per hit. So if you're clipping someone with that at range and you get 2 or 3 shots in them, you are hurting them big time. And like the Odin, you can be weakening them a lot for your sniper to follow up, which is what happened a few times. So yeah, don't underestimate that semi-automatic mode if you really got a hard on for this weapon. Put it in semi-automatic mode for like longer ranges and just pepper people, and it works an absolute treat. Remember, it's an AR ammo as well, so in terms of using it as a marksman rifle, in that regard, it can work. Obviously, it's not a fantastic marksman rifle, and if it was to be in all the categories, it would be at the bottom of the pile, but it's still an option that you have nonetheless, whereas some weapons don't give you that option, or if you do have that option, you're only doing 20 damage at range. But because this has got marksman rifle like range, you're going to be doing that 40 damage per bullet is going to be carrying that longer range. So yeah, don't be afraid to use it that way if you do decide that you want to use it for some reason. Now, obviously, we need to talk about the negatives of this gun. It has a really poor close quarters combat potential. Now, the reason that it's poor is because if someone's shooting at you, by the time that you've put 3 bursts into them, they will have dropped you. And it's quite bad actually, because every gun is pretty much going to drop you quicker. The Grau, which if you start a fight with a Grau of any other weapon and you both shoot and hit each other at the same time and hit every shot, most weapons will beat the Grau quite easily, unless you're shooting at like a pistol or something. But even then, the Rennetti would be up there with a chance. This wouldn't do that. A Grau would hit you because of that burst delay. That needs to be tightened up, in my opinion. If that burst delay was a lot shorter, this gun, I don't think it would ever be an A tier. However, I do think it could potentially, move up a tier to D. I mean, depending on how much they change that delay, it could even potentially be a lower C. But at this current point in time, it doesn't move from F now that I've used it properly. I was right to not use this. A lot of people on the channel will watch a video and be like, whoa, that's not a very good choice, why are you using that? And then it actually turns out to be a surprisingly strong pick, like the SOCOMs that we've done, like the EBR like we've done, and like the crossbow that we've done. These weapons were initially like, should you be using that? And then once we've used them and I've showcased it on the channel, it's like wow, actually, this is really good. FAMAS is not getting that treatment. We have that approach with the FAMAS that it was going to be bad when we started off with. We were not pleasantly surprised. The only thing that surprised us was the marksman rifle mode and its range, which was really good, obviously. But that's how we feel about that. So it is, when you're using it, you are going to need to use a shotgun or an SMG. Now, as you can see in the gameplay, I've opted for a shotgun just because I was feeling in that kind of mood that day. An MP5, this would pair perfectly with. An MP7 would be good as well, purely because you can get that little bit extra range in those little, those small to medium range encounters. The MP7 is going to be good then. It would still be dropping people quicker than the FAMAS would at that range. But when you're outside of that range and you're starting to be on the later edges of assault rifle range, when they're starting to miss shots, if you land all yours, you will drop them. But it just needs there's just the range where it's usable. Say you've got like a short range there, and then you've got like assault rifle range here somewhere, and then you got like a marksman rifle and a sniper. Like, it's range where it's reusable in burst modes like there, but the problem with it being there is that you're in the marksman rifle range, and then on the other side you've got the assault rifle range, and this gap where it's usable and competes with other weapons is very small, and I find that is a massive problem. So yeah, you just got to bear that in mind whenever you're using that weapon, and try and make it fit to those circumstances. However, when you are in that range, it is surprisingly satisfying and actually really reliable at range. So I really do enjoy it when you're doing that. Of course, we mentioned the marksman rifle mode before. That moves you from about here to about there, but obviously you're still not competing loads. You're still in the marksman rifle territory. Marksman rifles are still going to have you. But if you're at an assault rifle range, which is usually over here somewhere, you might have an edge, might not. Depends on the assault rifle that you're up against. So I'm basically going to break down the strengths and the weaknesses and what you need to put on this gun to even consider it working for you in the slightest. So its strengths is that it statistically has high damage. We'll come back to the statistically bit later. It is a very good, very reliable semi-auto mode, which we talked about in the marksman rifle mode. And then it's got a really good range as well. Range is knocking on the door of marksman rifles. It's not quite marksman rifle range, but it is better than most of the other assault rifles. Weaknesses is that it has a very, very slow time to kill with the burst delay. If you're competing with anything in short range, in medium range, or even if you're in trouble, because sometimes you can shoot at someone in a medium range, they can turn around and drop you before you get that first burst onto them, which isn't ideal at all. And it's also got no close quarters combat potential. I know it did when you used to be able to put that absolute banging shotgun on it, but that has been nerfed to oblivion. So the way I'm working this gun is that I'm going to be using the sight on it, because in order to get that range where it's actually usable, you do need a sight that works. I was actually using the Well, you can see the sight that I'm using. I'm using that purely because it gives me a little bit of versatility, which is really good for the weapon. I am using the sniper barrel, the longest barrel, the monolithic suppressor, and the Merc foregrip. I'm not using the Ranger foregrip. I'm using the Merc. I know it has been like silently nerfed, but for this gun, it works really, really bloody well. And the 5th slot is down to you. You can use that on whatever you want. If you want to use a laser, if you want to use a gun perk, if you want to use like a hand grip, that's entirely up to you. Stock might not be a bad shout on there either. So yeah, the 5th one's up to you, but it does need those first 4 for it to be usable. So that's pretty much my take on the gun. I still don't like it. I was expecting to be surprised and have the next off-meta champion for you, but this is not it. If you are one of those off-meta gremlins like me, then stick with your SOCOM, stick with your EBR, your marksman rifles. This is a miss. This one's not one that you want to be trying out. It is really satisfying when you get those in those ranges, but other weapons that you're already used to are dominating them ranges anyway. So with that being said, if you enjoyed the video, please remember to hit that like button. Helps us out massively. And if you are new here, be sure to hit that subscribe button. It would be a massive help to us, the channel, and the A1A, which you would become a part of. But if you agree with me, let me know in the comments below. If you disagree with me, let me know in the comments below. And remember, it's just an opinion piece. You may love the, you may hate it, but the math don't lie, the science don't lie. Yeah, I tried my best with this one. It didn't take me many games to get a win with it, purely because I was backed up by a shotgun in this gameplay, as you saw, and an amazing team. But yeah, that's just my thoughts on it. But I'll see you in the next video. Peace!